That was my first rodeo. And here we are at the second rodeo where everybody's getting fired again. I don't know what it is, but I was supposed to be born at this time and hopefully helping some of you get on Noah's Ark and make it to the other side. So I just wanted to bring that up.
And speaking of making it to the other side, we do have Mr. Shannon backstage.
Oh, yes. Come on board, Mr. Shannon. Kyle Shannon.
Happening? Mr. McCawley, what's shaking? What's going down?
We're shaking everything. We got some lobster bots over here doing their thing. I am so happy. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm a long-time listener and always commenter.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yeah, so AI Salon has been such a gift to the planet. I got to tell you this. I went back and even watched your very first. You were doing a presentation to some people. And you were talking the way that I talk today back then because you just knew this was coming, right?
Knew it was coming. Yeah. I have a personal, like, internal pressure. When I was in 7th grade, I realized I was too young to be part of the PC revolution that I just missed. And then in 94, when I published the first issue of Urban Desires, which was an art and culture magazine on the web, and 3 weeks later, it was written about a full-page article in a Parisian newspaper. And I realized in that moment the world had changed. And
that's the episode I watched where you were in front of a group of people, and that was the very episode. In fact, I fed it to Notebook LM so I would have some talking points to talk to you about.
Oh, that's awesome. So anyway, so I didn't think in my lifetime, like, I don't consider things like, the iPhone, social media, things like that. I feel like those were all extensions of, what happened with the World Wide Web. It was all just sort of variations on the theme. But when ChatGPT launched, it was pretty crystal clear to me that this is a big deal.
So that was the foundation of you starting AI Salon. And tell us a little bit about the journey of what AI Salon is.
Yeah. So in 94, when I started Urban Desires Agency.com, I started a group called the World Wide Web Artist Consortium. And it ended up becoming like New York City's. It was anyone in New York that was doing anything with the web met. We got Sony offered us their largest conference room. So every 2 weeks we would go to this conference room in the Sony building that sat 300 people. It was insane. We had this big square table and just everyone was up there. It was crazy. And the reason I started that group was I didn't know anything about the World Wide Web, and I assumed that there were these wizards that knew more than I did. So I thought if I start a group, I'll get the wizards to come and then they'll teach me everything. And what I learned was everyone that came was like, I don't know anything about this. And so for, probably a good year and a half, it was just this pure thing where everyone was just trying to figure it out. And so when I realized what was coming with AI, I was playing around with Stable Diffusion in fall of 2022, and I'd been playing around with OpenAI Playground. But when ChatGPT launched, it was just crystal clear. Oh, ChatGPT does for AI what the World Wide Web did for the internet, which made it available to everyone else. You didn't have to be a technologist. You didn't have to
democratized it. Yeah.
And so I started the AI Salon that week. Like, we had our first meeting December 7th, 2022. And, ChatGPT launched November 30th. So it was 7 days after ChatGPT's launch, we had it. And the salon is really just the initial criteria was just, if you're curious about this stuff, show up. Right. And then, my thing was, what was clear to me even before all the big investments started. I mean, it was, ChatGPT was created because Microsoft invested $1 billion in OpenAI, and they needed something to show. And this is a little known fact, which I think this is such a cool little piece of trivia. The instructions for how to build ChatGPT were in the documentation for GPT-3. So in the documentation was the instructions for how to build ChatGPT, and nobody built it. And so they had to show something to announce this Microsoft investment. So Sam Altman said, took 4 or 5 people and said, just go build that thing. And when they finished it, they thought they might be lucky if they got like 5,000 comments on X. And
next thing you know, what is it?
2 million users in 5 days and 100 million users in 6 weeks.
It's insane. Brandon, can you go back to that slide where it says the play lead?
Yeah, I just gotta say this is like the crossover episode. So I started as producer Brandon on the AI Learning Lab, and now this is my spin off, and now we've come full circle.
Exactly.
I want to down the hall.
I want to pay full homage to you, Kyle, because you're who I want to be when I grow up. Right?
Careful.
And I want to say that because I'm going to say later that my whole zeitgeist is to be a better version of myself every day, to be of service to my community at the intimate level, the community level, the world level, and to the planet itself. And then this is where it starts. Curiosity and creativity. Play first.
Yep.
And it is play. So if you want to learn any of these things, you've said this again and again, and you're on every freaking night. I mean, like
5 nights. I'm not on weekends.
Well, but I mean, I think I'm doing pretty good doing
You're on
500%
more than we
right?
are.
Yeah, there you go. You're a multiplier of this show, right? And you're constantly, I mean, you're singing to your dog, which is just lovely.
Yeah.
You know, and
and
you know where I met Brandon, and you know the people that are sitting there in the chat right now, Jeannie and Dr. Claire, come from you.
Yeah.
So you built a community of over at least 5,000 people at this point, I think. And if I have anything to do with it, that's going to be 100 million. It's going to be half the planet, right? Because playing first, this is what it is to be human, right? And you're talking about the same thing I'm doing, and I call it something different. You're talking about what's your current mission statement for what you're trying to do is help people navigate, and there you have a term for it.
AI readiness, and we call that the
great repurposing.
The great repurposing. Well, let me get to that in a second. Go back to the other slide if you can.
Okay. So going back to the curiosity, which is I'm born of the same thing, right? Generously lead. That's
I love how you're giving me producer notes on this show now.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you where this came from. So this Leah Faston and I started the salon, and the woman who's now the co-host of the salon, Liz Miller-Gershfeld, she joined and came to the first meeting she came to. And then, she came to an occasional meeting here or there, but kind of a year or so after she came to that first meeting, she started getting active again. And she was in a very different place. She knew about AI. And so Leah and I had a conversation with her, and we're like, what's your journey been? And she said, well, I came in, and then the first thing I did was I went and I watched all the back episodes of the AI Salon. And I wrote down every tool that everyone was talking about in every one of those episodes. And then I just went and I just played with all those tools. And then in playing with that, I learned some stuff. And then in learning some stuff, I decided to build some stuff. And that became Create Excellence. And then she said, then I decided to start sharing what I was talking about. I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly the people that were in the salon that like I always liked. There was something about them. They had this curiosity, but then they were willing to take that knowledge and build stuff. And then they would take what they learned building and they told other people about it. And that became this. And as the salon has matured, things like this tend to go one of two ways, Rick, right? You come up with clarity like this, and it just ages badly over time, and it'll sort of peter out. Or this feels more and more and more relevant. And
it's a giant oak tree. It's my thing about you plant a seed you don't enjoy the shade of, but you've got a forest already. You've got a forest stretching across the planet. I mean, you got people from all over the world showing up, right? You had my favorite for the last 2.5 years. You had Noelle Russell on your show. 2.5 years. I went down to Miami-Dade, and she was my mentor that got me to where I am today. I met with her at least 50 times. I spoke with her as an artist because she didn't have the skill set Mid-Journey. So when she would go speak about stuff, she'd say, hey, here's Rick, my artist guy, come up and show some stuff. So this playing, this creating, and then leading. So now I want to get to this really profound thing is that we're the nexus point where we decide to be superhuman. So if you're defined currently by your job title, that's never been right. You're designed. You should be defined by what you do and add value to each other. And I want to pay so much generosity and honestly to you because it's love. You give it unconditionally the way your mother gave it to you, and the way you should give it to everyone. The way that Brandon loves his kids is that we are, as artists especially, have an understanding of the zeitgeist of everybody. We've enjoyed the first kiss, the last goodbye. We have blood, sweat, and tears in everything that we produce. We want to feel a little friction, so we have ownership. And we want to tell a story that if I say Frodo, a billion tokens of information can explode in your head. If I said 9/11, wars have been launched based on that. So our compression method, which is far in advance of any large language model, is to tell stories. And the stories is about the first kiss. It's about the pain that we turned into beauty. And so generously lead is to say, my gift to the world, my ikigai, my reason for being here is this. I want to make people like you the most important people in the world. Artists who are curious, who are generous, to just absolutely a beautiful way. I mean, listening to you, to Brandon play with his kids and you play a song to your dog is the most human freaking experience that you can't buy that. That's priceless. So I actually sit there and, I've been on there typing all the time and I'm trying to come up with something smart to say, but it's like, it's a meme virus of culture, that of artistry, which I think artistry is a verb. It's the choice of an action of a human being like yourself to be a verb and action that it makes of the corporeal process of the stardust we're made of, to make a star that lights the night sky for other people that follow, to raise kids with stars in your heart. That namaste is to bow to the divine inside each one of us in a temple that we keep carefully constructed, and we share it with everyone because starlight is for the people in the dark spaces so they can get to light with you. And someone dies, they get to be a star if they've led a good life. I mean, what else could you? That's the full circle. So Kyle Shannon, thank you for being one of the most beautiful human beings on the planet and for sharing it so generously. That is love, brother. And I love you so much for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, man. Your energy is amazing. You're out there just doing it. I mean, that's part of the game right now.
By the way, somebody might have leaked to the irregulars that you were special guesting over here, and we were pre-gaming with you. So now we've got Steve-O and
nice. Hey guys,
folks, welcome. The irregulars are filing in. Nice. But Kyle, I know we're on a deadline because we have to be on the studio down the hall here in about 20 minutes. But you want to talk about the Great Repurpose?
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about it. So the Great Repurpose, for probably the last year or so, I just haven't felt right. Like something has just been like, I knew that talking just about the tools wasn't it because the tools are changing so fast and you couldn't keep up with them anymore. And I couldn't quite figure out what was the thing that was gnawing at me. And about 3.5 weeks ago, Brandon, on a Thursday, so it was probably 4 weeks ago tonight. I was there. Yeah, I didn't go in with the intention of coming up with this. I went in like I think I was just going to do something. And I was trying to figure out what to do.
It was getting ready for Valentine's Day. You were looking for something to do, and you asked for prompts from the audience.
Yeah, prompts for the and then did something. And I asked ChatGPT something. And it told me like 10 things about myself, and it made this statement. It said, "Do you want me to distill those 10 things about you into a single thing of who you are?" And I don't even remember what it said. But when it said it there was a clarity to it about what I was thinking about, and what it triggered for me was this idea that I'd read in the couple of days prior that a lot of programmers now hate their jobs because they're not programming anymore. They're babysitting agents and they're approving, right? And if you love coding, if you love the craft of coding and the problem solving of it and the meticulousness of it. And so what hit me in this moment was, everyone's talking about job loss, but there's also going to be job loss when you don't lose your job. That everything's going to change. You're either going to lose your job, you won't be able to get another one. You'll lose it, you'll get it, but it'll be different. Or you'll keep your job and just everything's different. And then it just hit me, like what sunk into me was certainly in America. I think it's less so in Europe and probably less so in Eastern countries. But when I meet you at a party, what do we ask each other? What do you do?
Right.
What do you do? And so we've got our identity tightly bound, generationally, probably a hangover from the Industrial Revolution, that our value in a lot of cases is tied to that job. So if the tasks of your job get stripped away, a lot of people are going to be left with, well, who am I? And it was Silver Fox that actually, she just typed in the chat, the Great Repurpose, because I was talking about purpose and identity and things like that. She said the Great Repurpose. I'm like, that's it. That's it. And repurpose is, we know how to repurpose, like, things you get at the thrift store. And I'm like, so people know what repurposing is, but repurpose is to find your new purpose. And one of the things that I've been thinking a lot about is people who are entrepreneurial are naturally curious and naturally driven. And this is a really great time to be that. But there's going to be a lot of people who are not naturally entrepreneurial that are going to be forced into entrepreneurship. Right. And anything about entrepreneurship, that if you don't love the idea really deep, when you hit the brick walls that you're going to hit, when you assume you're going to hit a brick wall and you hit one 3 days in, and then you keep hitting them and keep hitting them and keep hitting them. The only way you survive that is if the thing that you're working on is kind of deep inside you. And so it all kind of came together that this is all the same thing. We're about to experience a forced mass ego death.
Yeah.
And it's going to be sad. And people are going to be in mourning, and they're going to be pissed off, and they're going to be trying to figure out what to do. And they're going to be like, wait, all the skills that I've amassed over 30 years are now valueless? Yes, right? In some cases, the answer will be yes. In some cases, there might be transferable things. But sitting underneath the tasks of what you do is how you show up to work. And sitting under that is who you are. And so if we can provide a path for people to decouple their identity from the tasks of their work and get in touch with who they are, now we've got these AI tools where you can take that and amplify it and do all sorts of remarkable things. And that's what I think you do really, really well. So that's the Great Repurpose, and figuring out how we're going to roll it out to the world and get people, on the path to.
Right now, we want you to go take the test at thegreatrepurpose.com.
Yeah, go to Great Repurpose.
Oh, okay.
thegreatrepurpose.com, and you can figure out your Great Repurpose type, sort of based on where you are. We ask you, I think, 7 questions, open-ended question, and it writes a whole analysis for you about where you are and what to do next.
Okay. Well, that's fantastic. So before we let you go,
I do have to ask you, Kyle, you're on day 3 or 4 of OpenClaw. And
I am. Adam
Rick has a little bit of an unhealthy obsession with LobsterBot.
And I'm not going to do it, because actually tonight's show, the Moonshot, is about using Gemini to do the same kinds of things you're doing with OpenClaw, but in a much safer environment. As we start talking about what Anthropic it just came out with today, and others are doing right now. So
did you see
Perplexity? Yeah, they're taking over everything. So it's just a nexus point where what I did at the top of the show, in case you missed it, was I was talking about there's a duplicate of the web being created that's wholly in machine language. So the speed of transmissions between LobsterBots that you got out there, I want to call it LobsterBot because we got Nana Banana. We got to have LobsterBot just to be cute, right? I think the branding needs to be worked on with all those companies, and Gemini needs to figure out how to rename their shit. But anyway, so there's that. And then if that's going on, that means that you've now got that power. So if you're going to repurpose yourself, you've always wanted to be an artist. You were always. So my question is, first, what is your ikigai? What is your purpose for being here on Earth? Define it yourself. And my whole think different in the AI age is an educational process called Rocket Ship for the Mind, where I say that you are Gandalf and every student is Frodo. And your job is to send them on their own journey where they own the education they get. They want to work with social and emotional intelligence with other students in the classroom. They want to get to the journey. So they get Samwise Gamgee to join them. And they go on the adventure of a lifetime. They gamify life itself until it becomes something they're the controller of. And even my book, Imagine, is about a child being read a book that has a problem the next day. So this little girl goes to sleep, and then with her dog or cat, she walks through a portal of books, and she confronts her fears. So she reads about Angelina Ballerina and how the long work day made her so good. She goes through a portal and the cat says, who's a scaredy cat, I don't want to go in. It's a dark room. What's going on? It's an open field. And all of a sudden, she starts to, and the cat says, remember what Dad said when she was reading the book, that you've been practicing really hard. So don't be nervous about tomorrow, honey. That was the last minute that he said that to her. So she was scared to death. It goes through this dark world. And then the cat says, why don't you start practicing like your dad said? So she opens her mouth and the stars light up the sky. So the fear that she had in her heart was hers to conquer with imagination. So imaginary fears be conquered by imaginary. And if we're brought up that way, imagine who we could become.
Yeah. And the challenge, Rick, and the thing, you know, because you're a creative person and you're in touch with that and are, you know, fully self-expressed with all this AI stuff, there's a lot of people who, you know, what they were promised was go to school, learn the skills, show up at the job.
And that's not true.
And now all the rules are going to change. Even if you keep the job, the job's going to change. And so, the thing that I'm interested in right now is the transition for if someone's in survival mode, or if they're in, if they're in sort of ego collapse mode.
That's it.
The ability to hear the message, just, you know, your ikigai, it ain't going to play.
No.
Right. And so I think we need the coaches and the psychologists and this and that. I was thinking about designing, you know, in-person get-togethers and things like that. And I'm like, oh, bring the coaches and the psychologists and this and that. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. The coaches and the psychologists and everyone else are also going to be going through this.
Yes.
No one's immune. Right. And so, so it again reinforces to me, you know, communities like the AI Salon are really important because people are going to be feeling like they're just on their own. And what the hell am I supposed to do? And maybe not even realize everyone's going through this. And so, that's my latest stuff.
I think you make an extremely important thing, and I might offer to add value to what you said. And that is, it's almost like you need to go back to childhood. And think about what did you intend to be when you grew up? Because I can do this with Brandon's children. Right now, we can start training people that way. But what you're talking about is this loss. And it's very similar to getting the gold watch after 50 years. So I'm old enough, I should have retired in 55, right, in the olden days. So I'm going to teach the rest of my life because I've born a purpose, and I found my ikigai long ago. And so every job I've ever had, I never worked for a living. So I think that's the difference. The people that had the job because they had to make a living, because they had to make money for their children, and they were from wealthy families, et cetera, like you and I might have been an advantage in that way. Now they have to make the choices because their job was to be a mechanic. How do I reshape and rethink what I'm going to do from the get-go? And I hope that there is a giant pause somewhere where we give people grace. I think grace is a very powerful word.
I think grace is important. I don't know that there's going to be a pause.
There's not going to be enough.
Are you giving Adam any grace, or is he back in jail? So Adam is.
He ate all my tokens. I gave him the bad instruction, and he ate all my tokens. And no, he's out of jail now.
No,
he's out of jail. So no, he's good.
But so my foundational thing is to go back to Native Americans, Iroquois Nation, the 7 generations forward thinking. I think that's what our politics needs to turn to. I think all our businesses need to be re-engineered. Instead of having any rights whatsoever, you show up with responsibilities to put back more in the earth than you took out, to fix it. To your employees, they're your family. You must take care of them all their lives and their children's lives. You must provide for them as they provide for you. And then to your customers, don't be an extractive economy. Now, that's a complete flipping upside down of where we are currently. It's actually, we are upside down. So this repurposing needs to have a complete inversion where we used to be defined by our job roles. We're defined by what we contribute to society. And that foundational thing is Ubuntu is I because of we. And you can go over to the Aboriginals. You can go over to every native group, which topped off at thousands of people per community. And then we got above that, about 5,000 and 10,000, we start to other every other tribe. And that's how we got to where we are. We have to go back to family, and that the kind of respect that I have for you is that you are one of those bright stars that add value to everybody's life. And what I've had to teach myself is to calm down and wait a little bit, because I tried to overshare and I tried to. And what my mission now is, and every time I come on your show, I just want to quietly make one or two little comments that hopefully add value, because you're adding value to everybody. And all I can do is trickle in a little water there. And maybe if there's a thread you want to pull on, you choose to pull on it.
Yeah,
and
great.
I thank you so much, because I'm so honored to have you on my show.
Awesome.
Because you're helping me be a better version of myself by being the example that you are for everybody. And God bless you, and namaste to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor to be here, and I'm gonna go get Champion ready, give him a chicken stick, and get ready for the show.
And I just want to put it on the screen one more time while you're with us. It's community.thesalon.ai. And in all this, we've talked about it a lot, but just real quick teaser, because we've got a lot of regulars watching right now. You want to just tease up what you do with AI Learning Lab and what's coming up next?
So 8 p.m. Mountain Time, weeknights. I don't let Brandon on camera. We put him backstage.
He's wearing a nice shirt today.
Exactly. It's just me rambling on. But yeah, 5 nights a week talking about. It's the AI Learning Lab, and lately it's been more like the AI Ranting Lab, where I'm just sort of philosophizing, because I'm just trying to figure out what's going on, because things are accelerating so fast this year that I think we're all about to confront. Oh, this is serious. This is coming, and it's coming fast. Dario Amodei said today in an interview, and he talked about it in 60 Minutes. He thinks that we're going to have 10 to 20% unemployment within 12 months. Like like things are going to come fast. I don't necessarily think it's going to happen that fast, because businesses are slow, but I think we're going to see it this year.
Well, talk to the 2 million coders that lost their job, and the 6 or 7% increase, 50% increase in loss, and the SAS companies losing $2 billion in cap revenue.
Yeah, well, so, Jack Dorsey today laid off 40% of his 10,000 person staff.
There you go. And
he said AI is just changing how we do things. It's flattening the organization, and it's changing how we do things. And good luck to the 4,000 of you. So it's
at Learning Lab -AI is your channel.
Yep.
Right.
And I will see Kyle. I may be a little late because we're
running
a little long.
Great.
Just remember the black bar and say hi
and
to
also,
the regulars for us.
Just put in Kyle Shannon in ChatGPT and find all the places you can find him, because you got to follow this guy. I'm not joking. He is like, you're definitely one of the brightest shining stars as the thought leader, as a thinker. And you offer a community to other people. So that's where I met Brandon in one of those events. So every single night there's something happening at AI Salon that's free.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a gift to everybody who's desperate right now. And you'll laugh your ass off, which is what I hope to do in this show all night long. If you go back and watch it, it's funny, right? Because that's why I got Brandon on. He's my sidekick, because I need
he's your head big man. All right, guys. Great.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Love you, buddy. Take care, Kyle. Oh man, that was awesome. Oh, thank you. That was like, it feel like it's my birthday or something. I had Kyle Shannon on my show. I'm cool, man. I'm cool.
Yeah, we've been trying to coordinate that for a few weeks now, because especially with Great Repurpose, there's a lot of crossover happening with you getting more involved in the AI Salon. So here's what I'd like to do.